passion and pageantry of college football lives here. This is the Paul Finebaum Show, Hour 4 podcast.
This might be college football heaven.
We are back. Final hour of our program has arrived. It's been pretty eventful for a Monday in late February. We have one more stop to go before we pack it in and we head down to Gainesville. Not a place we often see our next guest. He is Mike Griffith on the road again, and looks like it's not hard for me to figure out where he is. He's at the Spurrier Awards. Mike, good afternoon. What's going on?
Well, obviously a big awards show tonight, Paul. We're really excited about it. Fran Brown, the Syracuse head coach, is our first-year Coach of the Year winner, but we honor a lot of folks down here. We're going to have Frank Beamer here as a legend coach. Shane Beamer's here to introduce our Offensive Freshman of the Year, Lenore Sellers. Marcus Freeman's here with his player. Dabo Sweeney's here with his player. A lot of things going on, a lot of Gators here, a lot of 90s Gators celebrating the Steve Spurrier era and what they hope will be a great future with Billy Napier after the fantastic finish that he had here in Gainesville this year.
So, Mike, what is the, I know it's named after Spurrier, but take us back a couple of years. How did all this happen?
Well, back in 2000, I went to Steve Richardson, the football writer's executive director, and I said, hey, you need a freshman All-American team. You don't have one. Let's do it. We started that, and I looked around. It seemed like everybody had a Coach of the Year award. So I said, well, what can I do that's unique? How about a first-year Coach of the Year, a coach that does the best job in his first year to school? Because that's really difficult. And we carried that award forward 19 or 20 years, and I realized we didn't have a namesake for it. I looked around the landscape, and I realized we had a face on the SEC Mount Rushmore that wasn't being represented. So I reached out to him, and I said, hey, this is the idea. It's a little bit different. I know you like to do things different. I'd like to honor you with this award and name it after you. And fortunately, Coach Spurrier, he did such a great job in the Georgia-Florida rivalry. I recognized that he would be perfect for this.
Hold on. It's Florida, Georgia, Mike. We talked about it, especially in Gainesville.
Kirby says it's Georgia, Florida.
Coach Spurrier would say otherwise.
Well, let's ask him. Coach, let's bring him over here, Paul. Why not? I mean, we got everybody here.
Yes,
we got
sir.
everybody here tonight in
Got Paul here.
Gainesville. Why not? Let's bring Coach Spurrier.
Hey,
There he
Paul, how
is.
we doing?
Good coaching.
I watch you guys all the time, so good to be on finally with you. It's been a long time.
Wow, this is unbelievable. We've got Steve Spurrier, who this is named after. We got Doring, who's obviously the title sponsor. I'm just trying to figure out how the other guy got on.
You invited me, remember? These guys just crashed the interview. I got to say Florida, Georgia when I'm down here, I guess.
Yeah, he called me about 5 years ago, Paul, and he said, we want to put your name on this award. It's before it just was a sports writer's first year, still, blah, blah, blah. And I said, well, I like that because I like those coaches that come in and win their first year. Don't make all them excuses about we got to build this thing up. Takes 2 or 3 years, blah, blah, blah. So Fran Brown, oh, man, he is a wonderful recipient going 10-3 this year at Syracuse. I think I only went 7-5 my first year at South Carolina. And you gave me the award.
You did. You won it that year, yeah?
Nowadays, 7-5 will get you run out of town just about. But anyway, it is Gainesville sort of the epicenter of college football tonight. This is one night of the year for Gainesville, Florida, and these guys enjoy it. I got about 20 former players coming back.
Really?
So it's a wonderful night.
And Mike, let's be honest though. If we'd had this award in 1990, he would have won it at Florida.
Oh, yeah.
And he'd have won it at Duke in his first year as well.
Well, interesting. The thing about Coach Spurrier, everybody remembers how many points he scored and all that, but here's the other half of it. He's extremely loyal. And the first thing he said was he wanted to do this award because he felt like those 1990 Gators, who had the best record in the SEC, but the coach before might have gotten a little hot water. They never got recognized. And that was the first thing Coach said was he wanted to honor those 1990 Gators that had the best record in the conference.
Well, they are recognized. They're recognized by everybody on the team. And if nobody else does, we'll just have to worry about that later. But we recognize ourselves. I can assure you that.
Well, Coach, it's great to see you. It really is. And I know Doring has always been he's been one of your favorite players. I think that's pretty understandable, isn't it?
Yeah, he was a pretty good walk-on. Doring led the SEC in touchdown catches for 25 years until Devontae Smith, I think, broke his record a few years back. But he held it 25 years. Pretty good.
Not bad.
All right, see y'all.
Got him a job. Well, there he goes. There he goes, Chris. This is what Coach does at this thing, Paul. He floats around. He talks to everyone. We got Frank Beamer in here is our legend, and Shane Beamer. And this is something that's a little different about college football. Me and Chris talk about this because this ceremony, it's just kind of evolved into it's one of its things. But to see this many folks at a reception in person, these coaches, Chris, I don't see this interaction at any other level.
Yeah, the resume of the people that are in attendance tonight, there are not a whole lot of award ceremonies that have the kind of swagger that we do, Paul, here. So it's a testament to, the reputation of this award, what it's grown into. Trisha Garzone, Mike Griffith, these guys do a great job with the award in general. But I think there's so much talk about what's wrong with college football. Tonight's the night to celebrate what's right about it. Legends like Coach Beamer and Coach Spurrier here, Shane Beamer, Marcus Freeman, Dabo Sweeney, these guys that are actively helping to make impressions on the world of college football. And then young athletes. It ain't the day and age where it was when I was a freshman, where you got redshirted and you kind of eased into it. These guys are big-time players that are required to show up and be ready to play immediately.
Chris, while we have you here, how do the Gators look as we get ready for spring?
And I'm excited about Florida. Well, let me tell you this. I'm excited about Florida's basketball team, first and foremost. Hopefully we'll get in the Final Four there in San Antonio this year. Went to baseball yesterday, had a great series sweep of Dayton, but the spring practice will pick up here in a little bit, and I don't think anybody had more momentum towards the end of the season than Florida did. DJ Lagway and what he did to elevate the other 10 players in the huddle. That's what a real quarterback does. Not only does he put his great play out there on the field, but elevates the play of others, and I think a lot of people are excited about joining in. He's like the Pied Piper here in Gainesville right now.
Well, many thanks. And you're I was joking earlier, but I really wasn't joking. I didn't realize you had a mortgage company until tonight.
Hold on, slide over real quick so we can get Chris Doring Mortgage.
Here it is.
We got to get the.
Got to shop here first. Well, the funny thing is, Paul, when I called Chris, and I just knew Chris from working with him a little bit on the SEC Network, I said, hey, we need to find a sponsor for this. Do you know anybody? He said, I'll check around. He didn't tell me he had a mortgage company either until I told him I was having it. And then he's like, well, we're going to underwrite it. And he did. And this is year 4, and it's taken off. And they got great sponsorship now with Man Cave Health.
Man Cave Health, the Prostate Cancer Foundation. So Paul, that's the thing I think I'm most proud of, is this award started as a way to honor Coach Spurrier. It's grown into so much more. And now we have national recognition from these sponsors that are coming on. We did a tailgate and testing event back at the LSU game here. Had 5 different men that tested with elevated PSA numbers that ultimately may have had their life saved because of the relationships that have been created here. So doing far more good than I think you and I ever talked about when we set out with this award to honor Coach Spurrier.
No doubt.
Well, it is an amazing event. Chris, appreciate you really putting where your money where your mouth is, because it's also at Spurrier's restaurant, isn't it?
It is. Yeah, the setup here. Paul, we had golf this morning. Unfortunately, that got canceled due to some bad weather, but we got the tent out here. You have to show them the whole setup when we get done.
We can get Finebaum down here. I think you need to come down here for one of these. We've added some big names, but we haven't got Paul Finebaum down here to Gainesville for the show yet. I think that needs to happen.
Yeah, I always tell you, there's one way to get somebody not to come, and that's not to invite him. So that's why I'm not there.
Hey, Coach. Sorry, I almost called you Coach. Paul, you should see the private jets lined up here at the Gainesville airport. Man, it's impressive to see these guys rolling in. So we'll get you the PJ on the way down, too. That's what all the honored guests get.
The Georgia fans have a hard time understanding. Like, Mike, you covered Georgia. I said, well, you got to understand, Florida was really good in the 1990s, and they need to celebrate that. Because it's been a minute, right? Hey, I'm covering a team now that they're in their heyday.
Tell them who we honored last year as the Legend Award winner.
Mark Richt was down here, and little did we know until Mark Richt came up here with his clever little humor and told the whole crowd how Steve Spurrier had cut him from a USFL team, and Steve Spurrier didn't even know he cut him from the Tampa Bay Bandits. So Rick with the uppercut on Spurrier here at the banquet last year. There's a lot of fun. I think it was just a few years ago when Spurrier had the TCU coach here, and what did he say to Sonny? How many did they score on you, Sonny? 60?
He must have used the word clobbered about 7 times in the introduction. So.
And somehow, while introducing Josh Heupel in the first year of the award, he managed to mention how Florida put up 63 on Tennessee. So everything goes here at the Spurrier banquet. Steve Spurrier, sharp as ever, and of course, Chris running the show and doing a great job. We really do appreciate Chris getting behind his head coach. Now, this is a player that loves his coach. And that's why he was in from the start. He recognized the opportunity. He said to me, how do we do it? And I said, well, I think this is a good idea. How about a banquet and a dinner? And it's just taken off. The city of Gainesville's embraced it. And I understand a lot more of that Steve Spurrier magic now that I've met these players and I've seen what a loyal and dedicated guy Steve Spurrier is to his players. That's something I don't think fans really realize.
Well, you should see. I mean, we got Kevin Carter, Javon Curse, Gerard Warren. These guys all look like they could still play today, man. It's an impressive collection of former players that Coach Spurrier obviously had a big impact on.
Well, Chris, many thanks, and Griff, we will see you soon. Thank you both, and hope you have a great night.
Thanks, Paul.
Thanks, Spurrier Awards.
Appreciate it.
We appreciate that. That was cool to see Coach Spurrier. We are going to take a short break. We still have plenty of time. You want to chime in? Phone lines are available right now. We'll take your phone calls and ride you up to the top of the hour.
You're listening to the Paul Finebaum Show podcast.
This was a big topic in our first hour, but it's come up again. This is Tanner from Tuscaloosa, a good friend of ours. Prayers and strength for our friend I-Man. And what this is all about is that at the very end of the show on Friday, I-Man let us know that the artist formerly known as Jim called him, essentially saying that his battle with cancer was a result, I know I'm saying this with a straight face, although it's hard to, his battle with cancer was a result of I-Man being critical of Jim. He said a lot of other more dastardly things, but some of you can find them elsewhere. Sparks is up next. Hey, Sparks, go right ahead.
Hey, Bob. I was on hold about 2 weeks ago. Jim was talking to you. He told you he hated your guts. He wished you was dead. And he said he dropped the F-bomb on you. Remember that?
Yeah, and I remember that, but he has said in the past that he hopes that I have a heart attack and get stage 4 and all that. But the difference between myself and I-Man is that I am in good health. I-Man is fighting a terrible illness right now. And by the way, it doesn't really excuse what he said to me, but I kind of laughed it off considering the source. But the ordeal that I-Man is going through, and that any human being on the face of the earth, I mean, I'm not, you can look long and far, you can find the most disgusting species of any animal or human. I don't know anyone else, I don't know anyone other than him that would say something like that, do you?
No, I mean, it's, and try to back it by the Bible verses.
Yeah. Right.
I thought Archie Bunker butchered the Bible verses, but Jim butchered Bible verses big time. I think Galatians 5, like 2. Well, you know, it basically says, you reap what you sow what you reap.
Yeah, you reap what you sow.
Yeah, he'll get here. Jeff from Ohio. Thomas on there. I was going to ask him about the baseball game last night. Ohio State, Alabama, 10-0.
Oh, Alabama beat Ohio State. I wish I'd have known that.
Yeah, but a walk-off grand slam.
That's pretty good.
Yeah, and the women started out slow, but they beat Auburn by 16. And well, you seen Alabama men, they look decent, about ready for a stretch run.
Hey, well, good to hear from you, Sparks. You take care of yourself. Let's continue with more phone calls. And Rob is up next in Tennessee. Hello, Rob.
Hey, Paul. How are you today, man?
We're doing well. Thank you.
I was trying to get a hold of you the other day when you had the Missouri coach on there, and
right.
I did want to comment on him and say, man, I really enjoy watching those guys play, and not only before and after the game, they show a togetherness as it's almost like the coach is playing the ball game with them. Really want to compliment them on that. And I was wanting to ask you some questions myself personally on.
Okay.
I'm a blue blood fan as far as basketball goes. I'm a Kentucky Wildcat fanatic, have been since forever. What is your take on where they are, because it seems like they're in a position right now where they might not even finish the regular SEC conference with like a split season.
Yeah, I mean, the one thing I don't know, I know they're two of their guards are out. Is there any expectation that they'll be back?
Well, there are some.
Okay.
Possibly they're constantly talking it up, and
okay.
You know, our star point guard that's been sitting idle for quite some time. He's been out for 3 games, Butler, and they're saying that now he is getting back into some contact but basically it sounds like it's more minimal to me. But he's talked about, the coach himself has talked about not being able to find a particular combination that works. But it just seems to me as if watching the games, I've seen him hit a good combination, and he's having to pull his players because of their lack of energy. It's almost as if they're not conditioned enough.
That's a problem, especially as you get ready for the tournament, where it is just pressure packed. I agree with everyone who has praised Mark Pope, and I'm right there, but I don't like the trajectory right now. I know you've alluded to it. I think unless these guys can come back in reasonably good health, it's going to be they're not in good shape to get what I would call a favorable seed. Now, favorable seeds haven't helped Kentucky in the past, as we both know.
Very true.
So I mean, the bar is pretty low with when you consider what Calipari left in terms of the tournament, but I hope they can get a little bit of momentum, because I think they will need it heading to Nashville and beyond. Thank you very much for the call. Ryan is up next. Hey, Ryan.
Hey, Paul. How's it going?
Hey there.
I wanted to ask you about Alabama basketball, and would like to know how you think they will do down the stretch and into the tournament.
I was really encouraged by what I saw Saturday. I felt like in some ways that was just a must-win game, and not just to win, because Alabama was expected to win, but just to make a statement, and they did. And I like the way Sears played, so I feel pretty good. The schedule, as you know, is pretty treacherous, but they just have to keep. I think if they could get a number 1 seed, it would be very beneficial for them.
Yeah, I agree. It's going to be hard, though. We got Tennessee, Florida, and Auburn coming up. So
yeah, I think they just need to cobble a win or two together. The Auburn game, I don't like their chances at all down there. To me, they do need a little bit of success in Nashville. I mean, I think they'll play on Friday, so they're obviously up against a really good team. But they can't leave it to the committee to decide. Hey, thank you very much for the call. Why don't we take a short break? We have a long way to go. Well, I don't know why I always say that, because we really don't. We have 30 minutes to go. We will come back for the final segment or two of the show with your phone calls right after this.
You're listening to the Paul Finebaum Show podcast.
And our final 30 minutes begin with Legend calling. Good afternoon, Legend. How are you?
I'm doing okay, Paul. Still having trouble with my hearing. It's about 30%, but I can hear you. So, I'm thankful for that. I would just like to say, it's really disgusting and pathetic when an individual tries to make God out to be as hateful and ignorant as he is. And, I'm talking about Jim from Tuscaloosa because he's a coward. He's not a man. Do you hear me, ladies and gentlemen? There's nothing swinging. He's not a damn man. He's not a man. He is a coward. A coward! I didn't know about this until today. I communicated with I-Man yesterday. He didn't say nothing about it. I-Man was more concerned about my hearing yesterday than his own situation. because that's the kind of person he is. He's a real person, with a real name and a real age and a real address. He's not a coward scum bucket. Pathetic ass little man. You ain't a man. There's nothing swinging, ladies and gentlemen. You're not a man. You're a coward. Dude. Coward. Lay off. That's what you are. You want to make God out to be somebody that goes around giving people diseases and trying to kill people. You are a coward, dude. Prison, Paul. Worse, brother. Let me tell you something. And you listen to Legend real close. I'm being real with you, dude. There's some evil damn people in this world. I met people in prison that if I see them walking down the street, I would immediately call 911. They're that damn dangerous. But I never met a low-down, you are
Legend, I hate to...
No more, dude. Nothing. You are no longer in the brotherhood. You are out.
Yeah, let's take Legend off air for a second. For some reason, he's moving as he talks, and we are. If you guys could let him know if he could just stand in the same place. I think he's so upset that he's moving the phone or he's moving himself. Let me know when we are ready to go back to him. I don't know. Okay, Legend, let's get you back on.
I'm sorry, Paul. I got carried away out here in the country. But he's not a man. He is a scumbag. We love you, our man. We stand with you, brother. And you are a real dude. You're a real person, man. We got your back. Jim, you're no longer a part of Finebaum Nation. You are excommunicated, dude. Take the jacket off. Take the jersey off. We don't want your ass ever again to be a part of this family. Your ass ought to be removed from the ring of honor today. You are a scumbag pig. You're not a man. Nothing swinging, ladies and gentlemen. You're not a man. Let me go, Paul. I'm just pissed off, man. Pissed off. Legend out.
Known Legend 20 years. I don't ever remember hearing him that upset. Ever. Craig is up next in Ohio. Hello, Craig.
Hey, Paul. Thanks for taking my call.
Thank you.
You know, it's ridiculous what Jim said. You know, all prayers in the world go to I-Man. I mean, it doesn't matter who you are. You should never say anything like this about anybody, especially going through a situation like that. That guy, I don't know where that guy comes from. I don't know if he's living in the backwoods with married to his cousin or what. But you know what? That's ridiculous. I mean, prayers to I-Man across the country for I-Man. Anybody with cancer, prayers to them. But
thank you for saying that. I appreciate it, and I think everyone appreciates that. Jace is up next in Georgia. Hello, Jace.
Hey, Paul. I want to talk a little college baseball. I don't know if you look at the rankings. I know it's still early, but the SEC has 6 teams in the top 8 and 11 in the top 25. So, I mean, you know, everybody wants to talk about domination in basketball. You know, our baseball teams ain't doing too damn bad either.
Yeah, Jace, the only difference is I think everybody expected that. I mean, the SEC has owned baseball for a long time. It just owns a little bit more real estate right now than previously. Hey, thank you for the call, though. Nice of you to be with us. Bob is up next. Hey, Bob, you're on the air.
Yeah, Mr. Finebaum, how you doing? I've been trying to talk to you a while about our Auburn Tigers and how how you feel about Janai Broome being the player of the year this year.
Well, he should be. The Cooper Flagg is a really good player, but I don't think he is yet. I mean, he's a freshman, but I don't think anybody has done more than Janai Broome.
I agree with you 100%, and I hope, in the past, what's happened to Auburn, they've really played really well the first of the year, and as the year goes on, the last several years, they've gotten a little tired and a little weaker in the tournament. I hope this year Brother Pearl keeps them stout and strong the whole time, and what we need to do is pray for all these people that are calling in and talking about anybody. They need prayers too, because I have no use for Jim, never have, never will, but anybody that would talk about God and talk about someone that was sick needs help really bad and prayers as well. And we just need to pray for our man and everybody else, and let's try to get along. And that's what God is. Our God is a God of love and wants to help everybody. And, so let's all get along and hope our Auburn Tigers will do well, and the SEC will continue to be a dominating force in all things. And by the way, you said something about Auburn the other day and won tennis. I think they also won equestrian national championships several times.
Yeah, you're right. They have won equestrian.
We got to get everything we can, So anyway, love your show. Always have, all the way back to when you first started. Read your newspaper columns in every newspaper that sent them out. You've always done a good job. We'll hope to keep listening to you for a long time.
Thank you, Bob. That means a lot. That's taken me back a few years. Let's check in with Johnny next.
Hey, Paula. Thanks for taking my call again. I'll tell you something that I found out in life, and it's very hard to do. A person like Jim is enjoying what we're doing today more than anything in the world. If we want to make him feel bad, we need to quit mentioning his name. We never need to talk about him again. We need to move on to the people we care about, to the things we love as topics, and forget he ever existed, because right now we're feeding that narcissist fire. And that's all I got to say, and thanks for taking my call again.
Cat Daddy up next.
Big Paul looking good and sounding good as always. First, my prayers out to our man. Wish him the best. But I would like to ask you tonight, Mr. Finebaum, with all the craziness, and I told you this years ago, lawyers are going to take over college football, and obviously they have. But look into your crystal ball tonight, and where do you see college football within the next 2 to 3 years?
Cat Daddy, I think short term it's going to survive because the sport is still so great, and there are a lot of people that will show up on Saturday and will flip their TVs on. But I think ultimately it is going to hit a point of no return, because I think slowly older people who have more availability of time than younger people are going to tune out. They don't like what they're seeing. People like you and me are getting turned off. And at some point, I really think there will be I think it may have peaked. I think it's going to start slipping. And what you have to hope doesn't happen is the same thing that's happened to NASCAR, that's happened to the NBA and other sports, which reach an audience peak, and then they can't get it back again. And I at the current rate, I think we are heading toward that in the next 5 to 10 years.
One of the most honest answers I have ever heard. Mr. Finebaum, I appreciate you so much. That was...
Thank you. Yeah, and by the way, Cat Day, I hate to say it because this is how I live and what everybody here loves. But I'm at that point in my life where if I don't answer a question honestly, I can't live with myself. And I think we've all propped this game up for a long time. We should have been calling out people 10 years ago, calling out the people that run the NCAA, and calling out presidents who supported the people that ran the NCAA while they literally threw away the future of that organization that legislated sports. Now it's all gone. I'm not opposed to players making money. I'm in favor of that. What I was opposed to was simply the breaking down all barriers in the game, where there's simply no rules, there's no rhyme or reason to what is going on. We appreciate it. We'll take a short break. We are back right after this.
Thank you for listening to the Best of the Paul Finebaum Show podcast. Watch the Paul Finebaum Show weekdays from 3 to 7 Eastern on the SEC Network. Plus, you can listen and watch on the ESPN app.